Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Anubha Rohatgi with the Midday News. The headlines. Both houses of parliament face adjournment after protests by opposition parties over Hindenburg report on Adani Group and other issues. BJP announces seat-sharing pact with NDPP for Nagaland Assembly election to contest on 20 seats, while NDPP to field candidates in 40 constituencies. BJP also releases list of all 60 candidates for Meghalaya Assembly polls. First Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting of G20 under India's Presidency begins at Guwahati in Assam. G20 Employment Working Group meeting to commence at Jodhpur in Rajasthan this afternoon. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says America is expanding cooperation with India to address global challenges. And in women's cricket, India to lock horns with host South Africa in the final of the T20 Tri-Nation Series at Buffalo Park this evening. Both the Houses of Parliament were adjourned till 2 p.m. today following protests by opposition parties over several issues, including the Hindenburg Research's report on Adani Group and its reported impact on the Indian stock market. While the Lok Sabha met this morning, opposition members including Congress, TMC, DMK and others trooped into the well demanding probe into the matter. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla repeatedly appealed to the members to go back to their seats and maintain decorum of the House. But protesting members did not pay heed, leading to the adjournment of the House till 2 p.m. Similar scenes were witnessed in the Rajya Sabha. Several opposition members had given adjournment notices to discuss the issue of investment by LIC, public sector banks and financial institutions in companies losing market value. The adjournment notices were disallowed by the chairman, Jagdeep Dhankar, saying that these are not in proper order. This prompted Congress, TMC, DMK, AAP, Samajwadi Party, the left and other opposition party members to create noisy scenes in the House. The chairman urged the members to maintain order in the House. As the noisy scenes continued, the House was adjourned till 2 p.m. A total of 10 flights of Air India between India and the United States of America were cancelled last month due to the deployment of 5G mobile services in the USA. This was stated by Minister of State for Civil Aviation, General V.K. Singh, in a written reply in the Lok Sabha today. He said the government is aware of the concerns expressed by airlines and manufacturers of aircraft upon the rollout of 5G mobile services in the USA and its potential interference with the aircraft radio altimeters. In another written reply in the Lok Sabha, the minister said after 4 rounds of bidding under UDAN or the Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik scheme, 459 routes have commenced, operationalizing 72 airports, including 2 water aerodromes and 9 heliports till the 20th of last month. He said more than 2.16 lakh UDAN flights have been operated and over 1.13 crore passengers have so far availed the benefits of the scheme. Chemicals and Fertilizers Minister Mansukh Mandavia has lauded the huge increase of 11.5 times in budget allocation for the pharma industry this year. The Finance Ministry has allocated 1,250 crore rupees to the pharmaceutical industry for the financial year 2023-24 as compared to 100 crore rupees in 2022-23. The minister expressed hope that the Amrit Kal budget will take the pharmaceutical industry of the country to greater heights. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman presented the Union Budget for 2023-24 in Parliament yesterday. The BJP has decided to contest the upcoming Assembly election in Nagaland in alliance with the National Democratic Progressive Party NDPP. The BJP will be contesting on 20 seats, while the NDPP will field its candidates in 40 constituencies. Addressing a party press conference at the party headquarters in New Delhi today, BJP State President Temjen Imna Along said the decision was taken at the Central Committee meeting held under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The party has also released the list of candidates for the upcoming polls in Nagaland. Deputy Chief Minister Y. Patton will contest from Tui seat and Temjen Imna Along will contest from Alung Taki constituency. The NDPP has also announced the names of its 40 candidates. Chief Minister of Nagaland, Neofeu Rio, will be contesting from Northern Angami 2 Assembly constituency. The BJP also released the list of the candidates for the assembly polls in Meghalaya. The party has decided to contest on all 60 seats on its own in the state. State BJP Chief Ernest Mauri will contest from the West Shillong seat. Speaking at the press conference, party spokesperson Rituraj Sinha said the decision was taken keeping in view the sentiments of the people.
जनता का मन देखते हुए हमारे राष्ट्रीय नेतृत्व ने तय किया है कि हम मेघालय में पहली बार 60 की 60 असेंबली कंस्टिट्यूएंसी लड़ेंगे। हम अपने बूते पे अपने संगठन की क्षमता के अनुसार 60 की 60 सीट लड़ेंगे। हमारा इलेक्शन कैंपेन का टैगलाइन है एम पावर मेघालय, मतलब मोदी पावर मेघालय। मेघालय को भी डबल इंजन की सरकार जनता आशीर्वाद दे, इस मैसेज के साथ हम जमीन पे उतरे हैं।
Voting for Nagaland Assembly and Meghalaya Assembly will be held in a single phase on 27th February. Both assemblies have 60 members each. Results will be declared on 2nd March. Filing of nominations in the two states started on 31st January and papers can be submitted till the 7th of this month. Our correspondent covering the assembly election in Meghalaya has filed this report.
TMC, Congress and NPP all have declared list of all 60 candidates, while United Democratic Party has announced a total number of 45 candidates, including 15 from Garo Hills. Meanwhile, BJP got a shot in the arm when 5 times MLA and NPP candidate from Ranikor constituency, Martin M. Dango, yesterday joined the party. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Shillong.
The first G20 Sustainable Financial Working Group meeting under India's presidency got underway at Guwahati in Assam today. Addressing the inaugural session of the two-day meeting this morning, Union Minister Sarbananda Sonowal urged the representatives of the G20 member countries to act collectively to make sustainable lifestyle a mass movement. He said India has adopted and is promoting sustainable development for its national development. Over 100 delegates from the G20 member countries, guest countries and different international organizations are attending the meeting. Briefing the media, the minister said climate change has created a difficult situation for the human race. And during the meeting, deliberations will be held to chalk out a roadmap on how to mobilize sustainable finance for climate action.
This particular event, mechanism for mobilization of timely and adequate resources for climate finance, enabling finance for the sustainable development goal and capacity building of the ecosystem for financing towards sustainable development. So these are the agenda. This particular group discussion will definitely find out their way out, and this is mainly entrusted the responsibility to identify the difficulties of sustainable finance for climate action.
The first G20 Employment Working Group meeting is set to commence at Jodhpur in Rajasthan this afternoon amid tight security arrangements. Delegates from 19 countries, European Union and 9 guest countries, along with regional and international organizations, will be participating in the three-day meeting. The meeting will start with a panel discussion on exploring strategies for global skills and qualifications, harmonization and developing a framework. Our correspondent has filed this report.
Two topics will be discussed in the meeting tomorrow. The first topic on global skill gap, demand and supply of skills will be discussed. Discussions on the issue of providing social security to gig and platform workers will also be held. On the last day on Saturday, brainstorming on social security and sustainable financing will be held. The delegates will have the glimpse of Rajasthani folk dances in cultural programs this evening at Ummid Bhawan Palace. In the morning hours, the guests will go to Heritage Walk and will see the heritage, architecture and culture of the Sun City. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jodhpur.
The G20 Education Working Group meeting is underway in Chennai on the second and final day. During the meeting, deliberations were held on building capacities, promoting lifelong learning in the context of the future of work, strengthening research and promoting innovation through richer collaboration. We have a report.
On the second day today, the delegates engaged in discussions on bilaterals on education. The delegates attending the G20 Education Working Group had the opportunity to understand the richness of Indian culture through a drama on Velu Nachiyar, the Queen of Sivaganga. The 40-minute presentation, which was co-organized by the Indian Council for Cultural Relations and the Tamil Nadu Tourism Development, enthralled the audience spellbound. Later, the delegates were given a sumptuous dinner with Indian menu. On the first day, a classical dance on the 5 elements of nature was displayed to the G20 delegates. The delegates were also taken for an excursion to the UNESCO heritage site at Mamallapuram, where the State Tourism Department had arranged for a presentation of various folk dances of Tamil Nadu. Joy, AN News, Chennai.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
Northeast Diary program, broadcast every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. brings very interesting and enchanting stories from the 8 Indian states of Northeast India. Northeast Diary this week, on the 2nd of February 2023, brings an exclusive interview with the Director of Mizoram Government's Department of Women and Child Development, Mrs. Lalian Pui. Looking forward to seeing you there.
Welcome back to the Midday News. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Washington yesterday. Both sides exchanged views on a wide range of global and regional issues of mutual interest and discussed strengthening of the India-U.S. Comprehensive Global Strategic Partnership. In a tweet after the meeting, Mr. Blinken said the United States is expanding cooperation with India to address global challenges. U.S. Deputy Secretary of Defense Dr. Kathleen Hicks also called on Mr. Doval. They discussed a range of topics including India-U.S. defense cooperation and regional security issues. Mr. Doval is leading a high-powered delegation to the United States. He co-chaired the inaugural meeting of the Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technologies ICET with his U.S. counterpart Jake Sullivan at the White House in Washington on Tuesday. Today is the World Wetlands Day. The day celebrated every year on 2nd February to create awareness about conservation, significance and the role of wetlands in the protection of biodiversity. The theme of World Wetlands Day 2023 is It's Time for Wetlands Restoration. With 75 Ramsar sites covering over 13 lakh hectares, India has the largest number of wetlands in South Asia. In his Mann Ki Baat program last month, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said that now the total number of Ramsar sites in the country has increased to 75, whereas before 2014 there were only 26. In her Union Budget presentation in the Parliament, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman proposed 2 schemes to protect wetlands and mangroves, namely Amrit Dharohar and Mangrove Initiative for Shoreline Habitats and Tangible Incomes, MISHTI. News just in, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha have been adjourned for the day following protests by opposition parties over the Hindenburg Research's report on the Adani Group and its reported impact on the Indian stock market and other issues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in the Krishna Guru Ek Naam Akhand Kirtan for World Peace at Barpeta in Assam tomorrow through video conferencing. The Prime Minister will also address the devotees of Krishna Guru Sevashram. Param Guru Krishna Guru Ishwar established the Krishna Guru Sevashram in 1974 at Nasatra village in Barpeta. He is the 9th descendant of Mahavaishnav Manohar Deva, who was the follower of the great Vaishnavite saint Srimant Sankar Deva. The Food Corporation of India, FCI, sold over 8 lakh metric tons of wheat under the open market sales scheme domestic on the first day of e-auction across 22 states yesterday. The FCI offered 22 lakh metric tons out of 25 lakh metric tons wheat stock earmarked for e-auction from the central pool stock. In women's cricket, India will take on host South Africa in the summit clash of the T20 Tri-Nation Series at Buffalo Park in East London this evening. The match will start at 6:30 p.m. Indian time. The West Indies is the third team in the tournament. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Both houses of parliament adjourned for the day after protests by opposition parties over Hindenburg report on the Adani Group and other issues. BJP announces seat-sharing pact with NDPP for Nagaland Assembly election to contest on 20 seats while NDPP to field candidates in 40 constituencies. BJP also releases list of all 60 candidates for Meghalaya Assembly polls. First Sustainable Finance Working Group meeting of G20 under India's Presidency begins at Guwahati in Assam. G20 Employment Working Group meeting to commence at Jodhpur in Rajasthan this afternoon. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says America is expanding cooperation with India to address global challenges. And in women's cricket, India to lock horns with host South Africa in the final of the T20 Tri-Nation Series. And with that, we end this midday